Good morning, beloveds. I'm still dealing with I'm in a different hotel now. I'm actually in the hotel that the convention is taking place in. It's fantastic. They have a breakfast buffet. They have a restaurant that serves lunch and dinner. They have a cafe that's open basically from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. You can buy all kinds of snacks and gifts and food. So if you don't want to go to one of the restaurants, you can, because we've eaten breakfast there 2 days now, and the breakfast is amazing. We didn't hear great things about the breakfast buffet. So, and yesterday was amazing, and the opening, the general session, the musicians were fantastic, and then the talk that the spiritual leader, Edward Villion, gave, Dr. Reverend Edward Villion gave, was engaging and interesting and pointed. And there were a couple of times where he asked questions and you're like, we need to think about this. And I know that I should go to the business meeting, which is starting now, or started 8 minutes ago, but I'm not. I'm going to go to the mandala class. So I think I'm going to be a good delegate, and I'm going to buy the recordings and I'll watch the business meeting later, because I do want to understand how this organization works. But I'm on vacation. So it is January 19th. Our title is I See God in Everything, Personified in All People, Manifest in Every Event. The first quote is, "Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others." And that is Philippians 2, 3, and 4. "Theirs was a fullness of heaven and earth. The more they gave to others, the more they had." That's Guangzi. The last quote is, "One is the sense that's active through them, their passion for each other. 'Tis love himself who worketh the one harmony of all. Thus, therefore, let us sing the praise of God." And that is thrice greatest Hermes. Jesus said, "Give, and to you shall be given." All the great scriptures have announced this central and transcendent truth, realizing that every act carries with it a sequence, bringing the result of this action back to itself. This is what is meant by karma, for karma means the fruit of action. Emerson called it the law of compensation, and Jesus proclaimed the same law in his teaching as that as we sow, so shall we reap. This is why Guangzi tells us that the more we give to others, the more we have. Whitman refers to this when he says, "The gift is most of the giver and comes back most to him." This all means the return to self, the return of the self to itself. The great apostle did not tell us to forget the self. He merely told us to also remember everyone else. That is, we are to see ourselves in each other and behold God in all. Hermes tells us that when we realize love as the great harmony, we shall all sing the praise of God. Before we can do this, we must perceive this harmony in each other and in everything. Thus, everything separated is united at the root. Over all, in all, and through all, the sustaining beauty of the inevitable seed of perfection, to which Browning referred as nestling at the center of our own being. I see God in everything, personified in all people, manifest in every event. The spirit is not separated from the person or the event. It unites each to itself, vitalizing each with the energy of its own being, creating through each its own divine imagination. I, too, am an instrument of its perfection, and today I recognize my union, which is perfect and complete. Okay, so I'm immediately struck by two things. One being the root. When he said root, one of the biggest living organisms on this earth is actually a grove of trees. because it's not, it looks like a grove of trees. It's an enormous grove of trees. And I forget what kind it is. But when they went in and looked, it's not a grove of trees. It's actually one single tree. All of the trees are clones of the same tree. So they're all united. They look like individual trees, but they're united by that root system. They literally are the same tree. And it's beautiful. And I'll have to look it up. If I remember, I'll look it up and put it in the comment sections of this, because it's a phenomenal story about this grove of trees that's actually one of the biggest organisms on the earth. The other one is a mycelium. Oh, okay, Peggy, aspen tree. Yes! And I forget, it's somewhere in California, but it's and that's what we are. We look like individual trees, but we all have the same root. The other thing is, when it comes to karma, people use karma like it's a bad thing, and it's not. That's why he said, the fruit of action. If you put good into the world, you get good back. If you put negative out, you get negative back. So it's very important to, karma's not meant to keep you from doing bad things. It's to remind you, hey, what you put out in the world, you're going to get back. Why not do good? Why not put good out? Why not put beauty out? Why not, put love out? And so that's the two things that jumped out at me on this. So I see God in everything, personified in all people, manifest in every event. If you don't know what the mission for today is, that's it. But it's the mission every day. So, and I like the Philippians quote, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of other. And the also is the important part in there, as Ernest says later in this passage. Also, we should care about ourselves, but we also care about our community. And we have to, if we want to make this world work, do what's best for each other as well as ourselves. So that also is super important in that quote. Theirs was a fullness of heaven and earth. The more they gave to others, the more that they had. Every spiritual teaching has that line. This one just happens to come from Kwanzi. And then the last one is the sense that's active through them, their passion for each other. 'Tis love himself who worketh the one harmony of all. Thus, therefore, let us sing the praise of God. Thrice greatest harmonies. Ernest does a better job of explaining it, so I'm going to let him do that. Okay. Jesus said, give and to you shall be given. And then immediately, all the great scriptures have announced the central and transcendent truth, realizing that every act carries with it a sequence, bringing the result of this action back to itself. Reciprocal. What you put out, you get back. And frequently it's like the rule of three. What you send out, you get back threefold. It kind of makes you look up and go, well, then I'm going to send out love. I'm going to send out love because that is what I want to get back. I want to get back love. And love looks a lot of different ways. Holding the elevator, holding a door, taking care of someone's pets when they're out of town, that quick phone call. Love doesn't have to be extravagant. Frequently, love's in the little details. Love's in the little details. This is what is meant by karma, for karma means the fruit of action. Every action is going to bear fruit. Is it going to be sweet fruit or is it going to be bitter? Emerson called it the law of compensation, and Jesus proclaimed the same law in his teachings, that as we sow, so shall we reap. Which means, that's bearing up what Ernest said. Every great spiritual teaching has this in it. What you put into the world is what you get back. So, this is why Kwanzi tells us that the more we give to others, the more we have. That rule of three. Whitman also refers to this when he says, the gift is most of the giver and comes back most to him. This means that the return of the self to itself. And now he's talking in circles, so I'm going to let that one go. The great apostle, I'm assuming he's talking about John here, but I could be wrong. The great apostle did not tell us to forget itself, to forget the self. He merely told us to also remember everyone else. That's community. That's about community. And honestly, that's what ministers are trained to do. We're trained to look to the community. The health of the community bears on the health of the minister. It does. The healthier the minister, the healthier the community, the healthier the community, the healthier the minister. That is that we are to see ourselves in each other and behold God in all. Hermes tells us that when we realize love as the great harmony, we shall all sing the praise of God. Before we can do this, we must perceive this harmony in each other and in everything. We want to look into each other's eyes and see Spirit looking back at us, see God looking back at us, no matter what's going on around us. Thus, everything separated is united at the root. Over all, in all, and through all, the sustaining beauty of the inevitable seed of perfection to which Browning referred is nestling at the center of our own being. It's already within us. Always has been, always will be. Okay, last paragraph. Power statement. I see God in everything, personified in all people, manifest in every event. The Spirit is not separated from the person or the event. It cannot be. Spirit is literally the building block that makes everything up. So no matter what is happening, Spirit is there. And when we look to Spirit is when we have that chance at reorganizing what's happening. It unites each to itself, vitalizing each with the energy of its own being, creating through its own divine imagination. I too am an instrument of its perfection, an instrument of its wholeness. And today I recognize my union, which is perfect and complete. All right. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it, what was that line? We are to see each other, we are to see ourselves in each other and behold God in all. We are to look at each other and see our brothers and sisters, to see that we are all children of God, that we are all beloved children of God. That's the mission. Every day, no matter what's happening. And we can do it face to face, or we can do it from safe distances, because sometimes we got people in our lives that are just not safe to be around, but we can still see them as children of God. All right, that's the mission. And then I'm going to recommend, as I always do, the spiritual practice. Do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever it is. Big, small, does not matter. It matters that you do that loving thing. This morning we got up and went to yoga. And it was amazing and wonderful and great and fantastic. And I learned a lot because she incorporated a number of different modalities. Oh, she was fantastic. That was a loving, kind, and compassionate thing that we did for ourselves. So please do something every day. It is a spiritual practice. I am encouraging you to create a habit, because if you create that habit of that loving, kind, compassionate thing that you do for yourself, you can create that response as a default setting. So that no matter what happens around you, with you, to you, you can respond lovingly, kindly, and compassionately to yourself and to everyone else. All right? That's my encouragement. So I'm going to encourage you to have a wonderful day, a great day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an amazing day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. Because you are enough just as you are. You're a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased always and forever. All right, beloveds. I got to haul my fanny across the way for this mandala class. Know that you're loved. I will be back on tomorrow. God knows what time. I can't. I can't predict. I got into a conversation out on the patio around the fire pit with two other ministers and two other practitioners, and it was fantastic and amazing. So I'll do them. I'm just not sure when. So catch us on the social medias. Know that you're loved. See you next time.